fighting for order in the chaos. The men and women of the Hall of Justice.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Whoop, whoop.
This week, we'll be discussing the science fiction action classic, Dredd, starring Carl Urban, Lena Headey, and Olivia Thirlby. It's an all-star cast. Domhnall Gleeson is in this, unrecognizable. I've seen this movie 5 times. I did not even recognize him in this.
I literally don't even know who you're talking about.
Well, that is especially unrecognizable to you. So
there we go.
Each week on the podcast that wouldn't die, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the horror and sci-fi genre with a comedic twist. Aaron, how you doing?
First day at the gym. I joined a week and a half ago.
Good for you.
I literally joined and bounced because I didn't want to work out or even have a tour. So then today, I made my first attempt. 20 minutes on the elliptical, followed by 20 minutes in the massage chair, fielding texts from my brother.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now,
I want to ease into it.
That's an ease, no question. People are wondering why I'm often wearing sleeveless shirts. When I come home from work, it is loungewear.
I assume you beat your wife, which is why you wear a wife beater.
No, this is a fancy wife beater. This is a sleeveless tee.
This is Jersey Shore, dude.
This is Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. So there you go.
You're Pauly D.
I'm not going around town dressed like this, as far as you know.
You got hammer pants also? This is like late 80s workout with some colorful kind of, I don't know, blousy trousers that go along with this.
I like a blousy trouser. What can I say?
I don't even know. So this is your loungewear. So am I assuming tidy whities if you were to stand up?
Maybe. I like to keep the mystery. Keep it healthy. You never know what you're gonna get.
Don't know.
You don't know. Good times had by all.
Tomorrow I am going to some kind of haunted pub thing. Okay. But instead of going with a date, I'm going with a friend of mine.
Okay, so is that good?
Well, of course it'd be more fun with a date. I'm getting flashes when my friend Julia and I went to go see oh my god, who's the Las Vegas dude who used to be at the Sands Hotel? Roseanne went to go see him. Not Liberace.
Wayne Newton?
Wayne Newton. My friend Julia and I went to see Wayne Newton back in the day at the Sands in Las Vegas. We were about 40 years younger than everybody else there.
I'm sure.
Wayne Newton literally walked around and kissed every blue-haired person, came up to our table, smiled at us, and just went, meh, and moved on to the next table. I was like, what the f***?
Thanks, Wayne.
We decided that he thought we were lesbians and clearly is not down with the LGBTQ
Which
situation.
Is kind of shocking because he kind of presents as LGBTQ.
That's right. We decided he's a hater.
That's what it is.
That's what it must be because we're ready for a nice, sloppy, croaky-voiced Wayne Newton kiss, and
Open
we
mouth.
were disappointed.
Absolutely.
Open mouth,
no question.
a sweaty upper lip. You know, a situation.
Dankeschön, Wayne.
Dankeschön, baby. Dankeschön. Donkey shit. That's what it was.
Did he have any other hits besides Dankeschön?
I honestly, I think there is one, but it just jumped out of my mound.
Your mound? Interesting.
I'm having many strokes. I think personally his claim to fame is when he was in Las Vegas on the Roseanne show. And she thought she was drunk and pissed and thought he was a Wayne Newton impersonator and was like screaming and yelling at him.
There's, for some reason, in the 80s, drifting into the 90s, there was a whole host of non-actors who started to act in movies and TV shows. Wayne Newton, in 1989, was in James Bond's License to Kill.
No,
starring
he had
opposite
this
Timothy
weird kind of mini resurgence based on what I don't know. All right, Daddy, don't you walk so fast. Daddy, slow down some, cause you're making me run. Daddy, don't you walk so fast. This is some 70s deep cut.
Not bringing any bells.
No,
Although, is it
70s
Dad
deep
trying to?
cut.
Is he trying to abandon poor Wayne? I mean,
Get
why is he
off
running?
me! Get off me, you damn kids! Daddy,
Right.
slow down.
Right. It's a sad
Well, in
story. Is what it sounds
Donkashin,
like.
he was pre-puberty.
He was
So
young.
I always thought that was a woman singing that.
I did too. Young
Yeah.
Wayne.
Young Wayne Newton. Yeah.
This
Anyway,
makes me remember. Also in the 80s, another singer musician who had a brief acting career was Gene Simmons of Kiss. So there you go.
he was trying to branch out.
He was. Can't say I blame him. Do your thing, Gene Simmons. He was in a movie opposite Tom Selleck. He always played the villain because he was just a creepy looking dude. That movie was called Runaway. It was a science fiction about runaway robots, and evil Gene Simmons controls them.
Right.
He was in Wanted Dead or Alive, starring opposite Rutger Hauer, where
I do love my Rucker.
He played an Arab terrorist coming to blow up Los Angeles, and only Rutger Hauer, with a little help from Benson, can defeat him. Exactly. Robert Guillaume, star of Benson, is in this. So, good stuff.
I don't know why when you said that, I thought Emmanuel Lewis was a sidekick.
His sidekick was Emmanuel Lewis. I always have to talk about how Emmanuel Lewis Webster was originally going to be a story about a married couple who was like, she's very frumpy and kind of, not frumpy, but fastidious and, like kind of an Oscar Madison, Felix Unger kind of situation. He's a former football player who spills shit on the floor, I guess. And the studio was like, hey, how about you adopt little Emmanuel Lewis? And we'll call it Webster after his character's name. What do you think? And they're like,
they're like, you two are as boring as shit. We need to throw in
That's
a little kid. Yeah.
That's what it was. And they took the show away from him. It's like Family Matters. I don't know why I'm talking about this for 20 minutes. Do you remember Family Matters?
I did. Which one is that? Is that the one with Michael P. Keaton?
Okay, there's no Michael P. Keaton. Number one. That's Family Ties. Family Matters.
Too many shows with family. This is what's screwing up the Midwest.
You're telling me. Family Matters was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers. Do you remember Perfect Strangers?
Oh, is that with like
Balky?
Balky. Oh my God.
No one under the age of 50 knows what the hell we're talking about. Anyway, Family Matters was an African-American family, big family. And Urkel was the wacky neighbor. And again, originally it was about the family. And then as time went on, the show became about Urkel, about the wacky kid. Did I do that? It was all about it. Of course, the other actors are like, what the hell? It's like Brady Bunch. It's like 6, kids in the family. And now it's just the Urkel show. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Good times. How you doing?
What I was going to say is, can you imagine trying to direct Gene Simmons? He's got such the ego. He's got to be a nightmare. Got to be a nightmare. I used to watch when he had the show with his girlfriend and their kids. Shannon Tweed, and they produced some good-looking kids, because I just saw his son on the TikTok, and he's hot. He's got the best of both worlds. He's got both those kids got the good stuff. More from Shannon Tweed, of course, but yeah.
Do you know what Gene Simmons' real name is?
It's like Chaim.
Oh, you're not. You're right there. Chaim Witz. He was born in Israel. Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. He just likes to screw around. That's his drugs. And boss people around.
He does.
Yeah. I mean, that was almost the end of that show. I mean, it came out during the show that he was still fucking around.
Right.
And she was about to pack the bags, and he finally like cracked, and I'm sorry, the kids were furious. It was a
I
whole
don't know if they ever got
situation.
married either. I don't think they were ever
I
married.
think after that they got married,
She
but they
put
no,
her foot
they'd been
down.
together for years,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They were like Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. They were
and
together
I'm
for
sure
ages and
that's
ages.
all Gene Simmons' doings.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Can't be tied down. God forbid we actually have kids and everything, but
God forbid.
yeah, no,
And
he it was hat in hand, and God bless.
we are a good 15 minutes into the podcast, and
Well,
we
honestly, this
barely
could
mentioned
be
the
our new
movie.
spin-off podcast where we just talk about Jib Jab.
Ta- talking trash. That's what we'll call it.
Talking trash with Aaron and Kevin. Talking Jib Jab.
Aaron, give
Tune
us your
in.
30 seconds, for God's sake.
Here's our Patreon. You can hire us. We're on Cameo.
Do you pronounce it Patreon? It's the Patreon.
I guess
Anyway,
what is it?
Patreon.
It's Patreon. A Patreon.
It's
like
yeah,
when
it's
I
very
would say,
continental.
I'm going to go listen to Toto.
Toto. That's right. Give us the 30-second synopsis of Dredd, for God's sakes.
Oh,
People
well, the
tuned
name
out.
pretty much says it all. In some shitty comic books, hyper stylized video game movie with a dude that could literally be anything, or anyone, because it doesn't even matter. This is when AI could have totally replaced him. With the chick from the Queen's Gambit. Am I right or am I wrong?
Wrong.
All right. Well, a chick that looks like the girl from the Queen's Gambit but with more human eyes.
That is correct.
As the psychic, I mean, this is basically a new version of Judge Dredd if you just strip out all the comedy. So he gets a psychic sidekick, and literally they wanted her face to be seen because she's cute. So she doesn't have to wear a helmet. Mr. Chin has to wear a helmet in case they need to replace him anytime during the shooting.
Oh.
Basically, they're in these stack towers. Always in in our dystopian futures, we're all living in these high-rise slums with a mall on the first floor. Drugs are in our future, so they gotta go to shut down murder and mayhem, and explosion, bomb, the good guys win. And there's a drug lord named Mama who goes about not hiring any women. So way to help sisters out, drug mama. Where's the drug sisters?
I'm getting the sense you were not a fan. What would give me that idea?
I was watching this and I was like, oh, I bet Kevin just fucking loves this. It's like a shittier version of Sin City. It's just that it's a video game / it's a movie.
Now, this is the first time you'd even ever heard of this movie. Is that correct?
I didn't even know that they would want to remake this, but it's super stylized. So I'm sure all the kids 16 to 45 are all down with it.
I don't appreciate this broad brush with which you are hitting us.
I'm painting it with a water cannon.
Is there more?
It's drug dealers. Yep. There's I was immediately put off with the guy with the cooked head. So
with the cooked head, who are you talking about?
At the beginning, they put like some inferno thing in someone's head, and it just cooks it from the inside out. I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Judge Dredd got him with an incendiary round right into his mouth. You didn't like that.
And quite frankly, the psychic's the only judge that has any personality. So are the rest of these folks even human? That was my question. Are these all just fucking robots? Because why would you need people if there's no discretion? What's the point of it even being people?
Okay, well, let me First of all, I've probably seen this movie 5 or 6 times.
I figured as much.
I watched it the first time knowing nothing about it, other than obviously it's the newest Judge Dredd movie,
You were dreading it.
and it knocked my socks off.
I knew it.
Spoiler alert!
I
Love
was
it.
watching this shit.
Love it.
I'm like, oh,
Love it. There
I
are
knew
certain
it.
films. This is kind of like Happy Death Day, where it's like you know nothing about it, and you go and you're like, whatever, and you walk out going, hey, not bad. I got to add this to my collection.
Oh,
So,
Jesus. I knew it.
absolutely.
I called this. I'm like, fucking Kevin's gonna love this.
Absolutely. Well, okay. For those the uninitiated, this was based upon a comic book, a British comic book actually, that was kind of making fun of. It was post-apocalyptic, but it was kind of campy in a way.
But
That
this wasn't
movie-
campy. This was
This
just
isn't.
violent and dark.
Right, where it's kind of like Judge Dredd is like kind of a Clint Eastwood type. So, and that's what I think that's what Carl Urban was kind of going
Clint
for.
Eastwood has a personality. This
Well,
could be any. It's, you know what? I didn't know if it was Michael Keaton doing Batman or every other jackass who was putting on the this is how we talk, or if he was trying to be Stallone. I was like, is he Batman or is he Stallone? Because I can't tell. He's talking like this.
It's you need to go back and watch pretty much any 1970s Clint Eastwood movie. He's always kind of talking through his gritted teeth for some
And
reason.
yet I like Clint Eastwood.
I like Clint Eastwood too,
but I didn't like this.
That's
You're trying to tell me this is supposed to be Clint Eastwood? No, Clint Eastwood, even with this raunchy as Dirty Harry, there was always a little bit of funny. There was always his partner's guaranteed to be dead.
Oh,
but there was always something.
But the idea is it's meant to be like he is so by the book to a ridiculous degree. To a ridiculous degree. Even when they're like trapped in the tower and there's 100 guys with machine guns coming after him, and his partner is like, hey, shouldn't we dump him? Because he could cause it, hey, I'm over here, come shoot him kind of move. And Judge Dredd is like, you want to let the perp walk? Is that right? And she's like, no, that's cool. we can keep dragging his ass around as he's constantly revealing our position if people try to kill us. Sounds good.
The problem is he and the other judges have zero personality. They just talk like robots. So I go back. What's the point in this dystopian world? Obviously, they have technology because all it is guilty. You don't have a defense. You're dead.
Well, and that's the thing. Other judges take off their helmets, but Judge Dredd, I don't know why I put it that way. Judge Dredd never takes off his helmet in the comic book, which was a departure.
Oh, in the comic book, because I'm like, I don't remember anyone. And why are the women always so tiny? Why isn't there a gal that's taller than any of them, like in real life? Like in my day-to-day situation, those bastards.
In your real
all
life.
The women are 5 feet tall, and all the men are like, I don't know, 5'9". So they're
correct.
towering over her in this dwarf festival.
That is correct. That's how we do it. No question. So when Stallone did Judge Dredd, because he's Stallone, he loses the helmet after 5 minutes. He's like, you're gonna see all the goods if it's Stallone. But Carl Urban was like, nope, helmet. And between takes, he never took off the helmet.
Well, then he's an idiot.
No,
this is not on the waterfront. This is not, he doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be, I mean, this. Please.
This movie is amazing. It is
Jesus
goddamn amazing.
I have half a page of notes.
I liked it for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a training day. He's supposed to take along Olivia Thirlby, Anderson, I think. Is that her name? Anderson?
I never write their names down.
And I don't either. And she is the most powerful psychic because she's a mutant that they've ever found. So even though she's a couple points below passing, in the academy, the chief judge is like, we still want to give her a chance here. But you, Judge Dredd, at the end of this, you decide if you're going to keep her, or if we keep her, or if we kick her to the curb. You decide. Because even though he's like, no, she's like 2 points below a pass is a fail. So why am I even talking about this? She shouldn't be here. But by the end, spoiler alert, what happens? What happens?
He
Judge
recommends
Dredd,
her.
He does, even though earlier in the movie, because he rattles off, if you fail to follow directions, it's an automatic fail. You lose your weapon, it's an automatic fail.
Yeah.
Like rattles off all these things. And she does get her gun taken away from her later in the movie. And yet she's still like, I know I've already failed because I lost my weapon, but we're still going to handle this. We're still going to do this, Judge. And begrudgingly earns his respect. So she hands him, I'm like rattling, I was really impressed with this scene. She hands him her badge at the end when they've all succeeded and walks away. And the chief judge goes up, so what's the story? She passed or fail? And he kind of takes a beat and he goes, she passed. She passed. That was real. That was a moment. You didn't feel
If she
it.
was psychic, how come she didn't know how this was going to go laid out? And if she's a mutant, where's Dr. X?
You love to call him Dr. X just to fuck with me. And I don't appreciate it, Aaron. I don't appreciate
Honest to
it.
Jesus, I just don't care enough to actually remember.
You write it on the chalkboard 100 times. He's
not
a
a
medical doctor.
I
He's
thought it was like an honorary degree from like the junior college.
He only got his master's degree in education. Okay?
He's Mr. X?
He's Professor X. He's a professor. Damn you.
Well, most of the time, if you're a professor, you have a doctorate.
You perhaps, but I don't think it's a requirement. For God's sake.
Professor X. Now, if we had some of that mutant stuff, I don't know. She should have been. First of all, I doubt her psychic abilities because once again, like a zillion people died, and she couldn't tell that was coming.
Well, you're right in the sense. First of all, I didn't like they said it. We could use more of that mutant stuff. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to inquire.
Like she should be psychic and shoot lasers or something. It should be like more X-Men.
Moving shit
What's
around
the
with her
point?
brain.
Yeah.
But it's but see,
blood shoots out of her eyes, but it's acid.
They're there because there's been a murder. The evil drug lord Mama, who controls, which is what's her name? Cersei Lannister, has killed some rival drug dealers.
Shit, that's right. I know you told me that, but I didn't put that together watching
She's great. She's great.
She looks rough.
She really looks rough. Pitches the guys off the, what is it, the 100th floor or whatever, and they come crashing down, splat. Skinning them alive, as if that's not good enough, and then pitches them over. So the judges come to investigate. They're there to find out what's going on. And they figure out, okay, this is the room where the drugs are sold. That's probably what the issue is. Let's go there. They kick in the door and they're arresting people. And she uses her psychic powers to know, like, oh, this guy I'm putting the zip ties on, he was involved in the murders. And Judge Dredd
so
goes,
it's more of a dead zone. Is that what you're saying? He has to hold your hand.
Yes, your house is on fire. Yeah.
Okay, so Christopher Walken is an X-Men too. But we always kind of knew that.
That's exactly correct. An X-Men, as they're called across the pond.
He's not British.
Christopher Walken isn't, but X-Men are, perhaps. But she says, he's the one. And Judge Dredd is like, are you sure? And she's like, 99%. He's like, I can't judge a guy at 99%. So we'll just arrest him. We'll take him downtown. Because again, Judge Dredd has a set of rules that he has to follow. His own rules.
On his sleeve, like the stupid football player thing where he flips up so you can see the plays.
Yes. That's exactly right.
That's all
100%.
I can think about is from when my son played football and you had all the crazy rules because kids can't
What?
be expected to memorize things anymore.
They're not. Those are called plays, by the way. Those are not called rules. It's not like don't run out of bounds. It's not written on a crib sheet, for God's sakes. Sweet Jesus, what is happening? Okay, give me. Like, you know what? We're hip deep in the highlights. Aaron, what you got? Anything? Just I hate this movie 15 times written down.
I can't. I don't have my glasses. Oh,
Good.
steel doors. Again, this has to be a nod to the most hated, The House on Haunted Hill.
Yes. It was, yes. If you look in the notes, it says, as an homage to the remake of House of Haunted Hills, we included steel blast doors that Judge cannot
Yeah.
escape from.
Bastards. I wrote that down immediately. And it also reminds me of Escape from New York. Because they're like, we gotta run to the top. Oops, we're at the top. Now we gotta run to the bottom.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Touche.
Touche.
What? There was another. Go ahead. You got something? Oh, you can go ahead.
I just had this funny thing. So at one point they go and hide in an apartment with a lady with a baby, and they look at the picture, and one of the dudes they just killed, he's there all happy and smiley with his wife. It reminded me of an old SNL skit where it was like the stormtroopers at home and the wife getting the call that her husband unfortunately had passed away in the explosion of the Death Star.
Yes.
It was like the other side of the story. Everybody's like, no!
That is true. Well,
So that's kind of reminded me of that.
It was even worse than that. In the previous scene, Judge Dredd and Judge Anderson, or Rookie, whatever he calls her, Rookie,
Yeah.
they gunned down like 20 guys. One dude is still like, I'm sorry for trying to kill you. Please don't kill me. So she's about to shoot him, and she hesitates for a minute, and Judge Dredd looks at her and just like, well, are you going to handle this? Hello? And so she does. She kills the guy. And that, like you said, she hesitates to blast him, gun him down. He's already half dead. And then smash cut. They snuck into a single mother now. They've made her a widow and the child an orphan. And yes, looking at the picture from, even though it's post-apocalyptic, it's from like SeaWorld or something. It's Knott's Berry Farm. They're in there smiling. Yeah, good times.
Well, I kind of appreciated that because in all these movies, the bad guys are just bad. They wake up in the morning, they kick their cat, they beat their wives. But in the reality, they would be like this compartmentalized life, I think, for most of them. You can't just live your life kicking everybody's dog. So they wake up in the morning, they drop their kid off at school, kill 3 people, pick up groceries on the way home, and then off to
the
see
Sopranos, right?
It's the Sopranos, right?
Yeah.
You're just not walking around, stab, stab, stab.
Well, and again, even villains are good guys in their own mind, right? They can everybody can justify why they do what they do to themselves.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Everybody's the hero in their own movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
This also gave me some Candyman vibes because once again,
here we go.
Here we go. But it's the situation where you would think you would work to help your own folks, but historically speaking, is who feeds off of you. It's your own people.
Right.
The Irish took advantage of the Irish. The Italians took advantage of the Italians. You know, you feed off your own people. It happens across all cultures, different countries, wherever you go. Those are your people. Those are the ones you're making your money off of.
Absolutely. And I guess in that building, it's almost like being in prison, isn't it? It's kind of like, do you have to join a gang just to get by? I don't know.
Yeah, I assume you're told where to live. So then you're dealt with whoever decides to set up a roost there. I mean, what else are you going to do in this lovely dystopian world?
What did they say? And earlier in the movie, they said there are like millions of crimes committed every day, and we can respond to about 7% of them. That's what Judge Dredd said. Who was about to arrest a homie for vagrancy? He's
Yeah.
like, he's like, we should arrest that homie. It's like, shouldn't we prioritize the murders? Judge Dredd, he's like,
It's
okay,
just crime, crime, crime,
right,
crime.
because he's by the book, ain't no lie.
Yeah.
There was a scene because there's like a medic or something that lives in the building.
Oh,
who
yeah.
lives there, and when Mama, because again they've arrested the one homie, they're about to take him out the door. They close the steel doors because they know if they bring him downtown, they will literally torture him until
Right.
he spills all the beans, and then presumably all the judges will just swoop in on Mama and take her out. So they're
Right.
like, we're gonna kill everybody, kill Judge Dredd, and I don't think she even offers him anything. Just kill him
No.
because I said
Ki-
so.
Yeah, kill him or be killed. And then they run to the medical office, and the guy's like, dude, we're neutral. We're neutral. You can't come over here. We can't take sides.
Right.
You are taking sides.
He says, it sounds to me you are taking a side. And he's like, you don't understand. You're already dead.
Yeah.
You're already dead. There's nowhere for you to go. And everybody in this building is coming to kill you.
He should have stuck by those words, because that didn't quite work out for him when the judges showed up. He's like, oh, yeah, I can show you right where everybody is. Boosh.
Right. Were you surprised? Was that a twist? Maybe it was.
That was a
Because-
twist for me. I assumed I didn't see that they were the corrupt judges.
Right. Because that was the thing. With the steel doors down, Judge Dredd's radio can't reach headquarters to call for help. And that was one reason why he was trying to get to the medics building, because there was a phone in there that he could call. Now, later in the movie, they managed to blow a hole through the wall and are able to communicate. And 2 judges arrive and they're like, let us in, let us in. And then 4 more judges arrive and send those first 2 away. And that's the reveal. Those 4 are all corrupt.
Yes.
They're all working for Mama, and they're out to kill. And they all hate Judge Dredd for making them look bad because they're corrupt, and he is like ridiculously non-corrupt. So, good time. This is a good. What is your problem, Aaron? Can you not feel joy?
I like the music. I really the industrial grooviness. I literally thought it was Trent Reznor's soundtrack, because there was definitely some sampling going on there from, what's that good song that he has? The one who was like, I want to you like an animal. That
Closer
one.
to God? Is that what the name of it is?
Is it Closer? I think it's called Closer.
I'll bring you closer to... I never was a big Nine Inch Nails guy.
No,
Truth
but
be told.
trust me, every chick I know loves that song.
I think that's probably true. There was one line that I kind of laughed about, because she, like you said, he wears a helmet the entire time. She has a helmet, wears it when she rides the motorcycle, but when she gets there, she takes off her helmet. And he goes, why aren't you wearing your helmet? And she's like, well, it interferes with my psychic abilities. And he's like, I'd think a bullet might interfere a bit more. Boom. Good stuff.
Boom. Boom.
Good stuff. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It is dynamite. Now, let me ask you this. There's a drug that Mama is producing and spreading out.
Oh,
called
Jesus
Slow-Mo.
Christ. How did
Oh, here we go.
I did write those down. You know what
Go
this
for it.
reminded me of? We just
Please.
invented slow motion, so we got to use it 25 times. It's like after the Matrix, then everybody did this weird drop and bend, and you can bullets turn. And then there was like the underworld where everybody got to drop from the sky and just kind of... It's like you can't just throw it out there. You got to use it over and over. Hey, guys, we invented slow motion. Yay. Let's use it 50 more times.
It is artistic. It is very artistic because it was like basically you use the drug and they say it's like time appears to pass in like one
That's
hundredth.
called getting stoned. I don't know if people in the future know that, but there used to be this thing you can buy at what looks like an Apple store, and it will also make like time is standing still.
You just can't feel joy, Aaron. I think we can all agree on that. No, I thought it was kind of interesting. Now you felt they hit it too hard. I think maybe 3 times over the course of the movie because it happens.
Was it only 3 times? It felt like it was every 5 minutes.
You felt like the movie was going in slow mo all the time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus. No, because there's a scene where she's kind of in a bathtub and she kind of splashes and it's all sparkly. I thought that was kind of interesting. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Jesus.
That was nice.
That was nice. Good stuff. Do you have any other scenes you want to talk about? Good Lord.
No. I have talked about everything. I like the industrial soundtrack.
Well, that's something. That's something. I enjoyed the movie overall. I always feel like sometimes these movies are just a little too violent for my taste. I don't mind shootouts. I could watch shootouts all day long. But when there's like, close up of, somebody's getting skinned and then you see the guys slam onto the concrete, like squish them and lift up let's zoom in on here's an old smush.
How about Mama slow motioning hitting the concrete and flattening out and all the goo comes out?
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to say this is a bad movie. I'm going to say this movie is definitely not my taste.
And that's fair. That's fair. I watched
I knew you would love this.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of like I talk about Quentin Tarantino movies. Generally speaking, I love his movies.
I love Quentin Tarantino. And he's got tons of violence.
But that's the thing. I always feel like there's at least one scene that makes me like it 15% less because it's too violent. It's too upsetting. Where I'm like, you could have touched that briefly, kind of give me an idea of what's going on. I don't need to zoom in. I don't need to see the guy getting the swastika carved into his forehead. Zoom in on that. I don't need to, like for Reservoir Dogs, you actually don't see him cut the ear.
Right. And that's probably the most disturbing. I think that and when they feed the slave to the dogs in Django.
Awful. No, there's always a couple scenes like we said, Django, where he's being attacked. Then there's the scene where it's the two fighters are fighting and they throw the hammer. I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. I don't need to see it again.
Right.
Tarantino's feeling, and it might be the feeling of the filmmakers here, is that violence should be kind of a visceral reaction. It's like it should affect you when I give you this. And like, that's not why I come to the movies. I don't come to the movies to be disturbed by the violence.
We have become incredibly desensitized to movie, TV, video game violence. Incredibly desensitized. So they always seem to have to up it.
Yeah.
Which
True.
I don't necessarily agree with. I don't need it. It's not required to get your point across.
Not for me.
But I know tons of people, there's 1,000 Saw movies because there's an audience for it.
Absolutely. Again, not my cup of tea.
No.
So, shall we go behind the scenes after that sermon?
Let's do it!
Carl Urban insisted on riding the Lawmaster motorcycle himself. So every time you see him,
it looked like early Batman bullshit. What year was this movie? This 2016, right?
No, it's older than that. It is 2012.
Oh, still.
Yeah. 2012. And
it looked like bootleg Batman, like first generation motorcycles. Even in the first Dark Knight series, they were already 10 times better. This is more of like a Burt Ward situation motorcycle.
Okay, a Burt Ward motorcycle situation. No one even knows who Burt
Not
Ward
an
is.
Adam West, but a Burt
Not
Ward.
absolutely. And like they said, in this movie, Judge Dredd never takes off his helmet. And I'm always kind of interested by that. Like when The Mandalorian came out, I'm like, it's kind of a powerful acting thing where you're like, I don't need to take off my helmet to emote. You know what I mean? I can emote through my voice, blah, blah, blah. Of course, that's when I thought it was actually Pedro Pascal the whole time, not
What?
realizing they hired a body double and Pedro Pascal just walks into a studio and does the voice. That's a whole
Oh,
different.
he's making money, man. He's like, I'm
Oh,
not fucking sitting in there wearing that outfit. I'll just come in from time to time.
there's a show on, it used to be on the DC Comics Network or whatever it was. Now it's on HBO Max.
That's a thing?
It was a thing briefly. It was called The Doom Patrol, and it stars Brendan Fraser playing Robot Man. It's the exact same situation where it's just his voice. And there's another actor doing the same thing. I think the character's like wrapped up in bandages, and you just hear his voice, body doubles, and voice actor. Crazy. But not Carl Urban. This is Carl Urban doing his thing the whole time. So good on him. They said, and I mentioned this earlier, that Carl Urban refused to smile or take off his helmet at any point during the movie's filming or even between takes. He spoke
I
with an
refused to
American
smile
accent.
for this whole, I don't know what was
I
this,
knew
3
that was
hours
coming.
long too.
You were scowling the whole time. He
Gnashing my teeth.
Absolutely. He spoke with an American accent and kept a scowl the whole time and stayed serious to keep in character. At one point, a cast member made a joke, causing laughter on the set, and Urban gave him the Dredd stare through his helmet, I guess, prompting the person to immediately apologize. He's Australian.
Are you saying he's British or Syrian? What are you saying?
Yes, he's Syrian. He's from he's either Australian or New Zealand. I'll figure it out for you. Because he was in Lord of the Rings. Did you know that? Carl Urban's been in a ton of
Was
stuff.
he like Frodo or?
He's from New Zealand. He was Frodo. Frodo Baggins. No, he was Aylmer or one of those dudes. One of the horse lords. He had long blonde hair. He had a fairly large role. I think he was even.
What's his name? Keith Urban?
Keith Urban. He also is an Australian country western singer. Carl Urban. Sweet Jesus.
But now I gotta go see what he actually looks like.
He's a handsome devil. He's on, do you ever watch The Boys on Amazon Prime? Probably.
No,
right?
no, because I'm a girl.
He's in there.
He looks a little bit like the dude who married Megan Mullally, who was in Parks and Recs. In this picture.
Okay, you're saying he looks like Ron Swanson?
Yes.
You're out of your damn mind.
This is Ron Swanson's son.
You really
in this picture he is Ron Swanson's son.
GD. Ridiculous. Let's see. The Lawmaster motorcycles were actual functional bikes ridden by actors and stunt performers.
They tried no budget for CGI motorcycles.
Well, they tried to make them look like they do in the comic book, but that would have made them undrivable. So they had to kind of, accommodate it. Some of Mama's tattoos are Lena Headey's actual tattoos. Most notably, the flower on her upper right arm. The makeup artist took the design and expanded it to her neck and face. So,
all right.
Because
I don't remember when she was buck naked during the shame, right. Which is what I yell at kids when they're dress code violations.
You should, and hit them with some incense while you're at it. Good times.
Yeah. I didn't see any tattoos then. Oh yeah, I had a kid roll up with the I Heart DILFs.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. She refused to explain it to the dean what it meant. I was like, well, let me tell you. Yeah.
Originally, the Mama character was meant to be an elderly woman, but Lena Headey convinced the director to make her a middle-aged person with a male-hater personality.
I didn't recognize her. I know you told me, and then I forgot, and then I did not pick up. So, You
Well,
know, she know what she's doing.
she knows what she's doing. Lena Headey is actually a brunette naturally. A lot of those Game of Thrones people are brunettes naturally that they put crazy like wigs on them and stuff
Like
like
Crazy Tyrion, they tried to make him blonde at the beginning, but progressively he became less and less blonde until it was just his natural hair color.
I think
by
that's
the end.
Jamie as well, where it's the same like bleach, like sun blonde, and then just brown, just brown. We give up the ghost. Forget it.
I don't want to dye my hair no more.
Carl Urban's voice for Dredd, as I said earlier, was comparable to that of Clint Eastwood. That's what they were going for. The character of Judge Dredd is in fact partly based on Eastwood's character of Dirty Harry Callahan from the Dirty Harry movies. So there you go. And his helmet was originally designed from the comic book to look like David Carradine in Death Race 2000 when he was playing
Oh,
Frankenstein.
I see that. I see that.
There you go. Good times. I think that's about
I mean, this
it.
is better than that, right?
Yes. Oh, was that supposed to be a trick question? Sweet Jesus. Oh, let's talk about the cast. You ready? Whee! Always takes me a second. Here we go.
Ron Swanson Jr.
Ron Swanson. Carl Urban played Judge Dredd. You know Carl Urban from such things as Star Trek. He played Bones in all the remakes.
Yes!
Let's call him Bones for some reason. Not his full name, Dr. McCoy, but just Bones.
I have to say, I really enjoyed those, and
They're
I
not
don't
bad.
know why they stopped making them, because I'm more
They made 3
Star
of them.
Trek than Star Wars.
We've talked about this. You're wrong. And that's all I will say on the subject. Sweet Jesus. He was Eomer in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. He was in the video game adaptation Doom, starring opposite Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in 2005. Don't go see that. Right now, he is on The Boys, playing a guy who hunts down evil superheroes on Amazon Prime. Billy Butcher.
Always hunting people. All right.
Always hunting. And he's doing a crazy Cockney accent, has a big old bushy black beard. He's great. Let's see. We also want to talk about Olivia Thirlby. She played Anderson, Rookie. You know
Where do
her.
I know her from?
She's been in a ton of stuff. She was in Juno. She played the best friend of Juno in
I love
2007.
Juno.
Juno's great. Anderson in Dredd. Stephanie in The Whackness. You know it, don't you?
No.
Katie Kurtzman in 2011's No Strings Attached. There was a period of time where there was a lot of movies about people having sex out of a relationship. There was No Strings Attached, Friends with Benefits, and they were both out at the same time. Sounds good. Whatever floats your boat. Recently, she was at Oppenheimer. I keep calling it Oppenheimer. It's Oppenheimer. She was one of the scientists. She's one of the female scientists.
I have this much interest in seeing Oppenheimer or Barbie.
And I think
or Barbieheimer.
She's in Barbenheimer. She was also, she's in a movie out now called, I think it's called Dumb Money, which was about that, how they, I don't know, faked out the stock market to get everybody to invest in the GameStop stocks. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
She's in that. Let's see. Who else? We've got Lena Headey, played Mama. You know her from such things as the
Game
300. 300?
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
That didn't seem very Aaron.
She was in, for 62 episodes, she was Cersei Lannister. She was
bang. She couldn't be more wicked. She was great.
She was great. She was dynamite. She was Lady Catherine de Bourgh in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I didn't see that.
It was out.
We're going to have to put that on the list.
Becky and I saw it when it was in the theaters. Becky,
you did.
It was like the best of both worlds.
You like zombies. She likes Jade Austen. Exactly. It's perfect.
Perfect for everybody. And of course, she was Mama in Dredd.
And that's it?
No, that's just 4 things. She was in 100 things, but she's in 90
But
things.
I mean,
List them all.
I'm assuming these were the highlights of her career that you just rattled off versus you just went alphabetical.
No, these were the things that have gotten the most traction lately. Is basically what it means.
All right.
Yeah, IMDb pushes things forward. If you like me to roll forward, I could see what else is on there. She was in one episode of White Collar in 2011. She played Sarah Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles for 31 episodes, 2008 through 2009. There you go.
All right. Sharing is caring.
Shall we talk about the rating?
Let's do it. I'm sure it was wildly successful with the fellows.
Currently has 80% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what the audience gave it?
110%.
1,000%. Absolutely. 72%.
Fascinating.
Let's talk about the top critics. Rex Reed. Just kidding. He did not.
Psych.
Claudia Puig of USA Today.
Well, at least she has a name on her byline. That's something.
That's true. Variety staff. She says, while not for the squeamish, Dredd 3D is an effective, gritty B movie accentuated by stylish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was this in 3D?
In some places. Some places it was in 3D. Like Jaws 3D.
Well, at least there was, unlike Jaws 3D, there wasn't just like a fish head floating
by
in front of your face for 20 minutes for no apparent reason.
I thought that's what it was missing. Accentuated by stylish visuals and irreverent humor. 2.5 out of 4.
I missed the irreverent and the humor part.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Katie Rich of Cinema Blend says, with style and dour charisma to spare, Dredd proves that the smartest way to handle an action plot is often the simplest. There you go, 3 out of 5.
So it has a simple plot. Is that what you just said? And that's a compliment?
That's a compliment.
For those of you tired with thinking and complex ideas, here, allow me to spoon feed you another superhero movie. Open your mouth.
Please do. Let's see. Keith Phipps of the AV Club. Mostly a bunch of flatly staged bits of action shot against backgrounds. D+. Not a positive review.
Which is surprising with a show called the AV Club. You figured they'd be eating this up with a spoon. Absolutely. But 100%. I could give a about anybody in this. They should live or die. Who cares? Because they have no personality.
I find that I like the idea of the hero that's like them against the world. Overwhelming.
Why is he a hero? He's just like mindlessly executing. You don't know these people's story.
He's not. If you break the law, he judges you. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying he is. Well,
I judge you too, but I don't like blast you.
What is your rating?
I mean, I enjoy. I'm a judge. I'm judging you right now for liking this fucking movie. But you know, I'm not dropping a dime.
Well, that's good to know. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
What is
we
your
gotta
rating?
Wait for the reward to get a little higher.
Right? 50 cents. What is your rating, Aaron?
2 out of 5 of my last brain cells dying.
I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. Woo! 4.5 out of 5. People getting thrown off the balcony. At one point, Judge just tosses a homie off over the side. Bye-bye. It was great.
I mean, if you enjoy just a series of action-y things, and I don't know what it is, but I love John Wick, which is also just a series of action-y things, but just done nice. It's slicker. I don't know. I cannot justify it. I don't know why I like it. 2, 3, and 4. The first one sucks. Don't ever watch the first John Wick.
It's like we're living in a parallel world. The first one is dynamite. I thought the second and third one
so fucking boring.
The fourth one is great. Fourth one is great. I think the bookends, the ones in the middle, I'm less enthusiastic about because that is like no plot. It is literally like walking from room to room, fight, kill, next room, fight, kill. I don't have an
It is
issue with that.
visually stunning.
It has a certain class in the way
It's
that like the
classy, and
Continental,
that's how I justified in my mind why
that's
it's okay
fair.
to watch that.
That's
It is
fair.
just visually, especially 3 and 4, just visually stunning.
They're in like interesting locations, like in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm over here doing something. It's an
Yeah.
old library here. There's drinking brandy out of snifters.
I love
get
the
it.
idea of the Continental.
Right.
It's got fucking Lovejoy. What's his name? I always forget his name.
Ian McShane.
Ian McShane.
He's
Because
great.
if you got Ian McShane, I'm there.
Absolutely.
He was even in Game of Thrones. My
He was.
God.
Ever so briefly.
Ever so briefly, if you ever saw Deadwood,
Yep.
he fucking read Timothy Oliphant. Who? Because Ian McShane was the fucking star.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah. So
Um,
anyway, that's my story, and this brought none of that joy to me.
This is the thing about this movie. It's like a movie that I'd like to show other people, but you have to be okay with a certain level of violence. Like I could never show it to my wife. Becky wouldn't last 5 minutes. She's like, the moment they're carving people up, deuces. She's
Dude,
out.
I'm scarred from the first time I saw Scarface.
Absolutely.
I hate that movie to this day. One, because it's a bad movie, but also from being I don't even know how old I was when I saw that shower scene. I was like, that it just haunted me.
I remember being at summer camp.
And the TAs busted it out.
They showed Scarface, absolutely, over the campfire. No, and some kid in the next bunk started telling me about the chainsaw in the shower scene. And again,
So
we're
upsetting.
like, third grade or something. This is like, yeah, it's a thing.
I was
enjoy
probably high
Scarface,
school.
though. I enjoy Scarface. That being said,
It's
I love
trash.
how the main character Al Pacino, not Cuban, not Hispanic. It's like half the cast is obviously Italian. It was like Sinbad all over again, right? Anyway.
Wherever you can gather up who can hold a tan, and then Michelle
Basically.
Pfeiffer, who looks like she really was on a diet of nothing but cocaine. She was as
Skin
thin
and
as a
bones.
razor blade.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any last thoughts about Dredd before we move on with our lives?
I thought we'd already moved on, my friend.
So, thank you very much.
I'll try not to think about it ever again.
Your heart is black and dead. Go to our page on Facebook. We're on Twitter, X, whatever. Threads. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. You can watch us on YouTube. Let the good times roll.
Boom.
Don't forget to email us at the podcast that would die at
Gmail.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Won't you?
Won't you please?
Aaron, what is your social media situation?
I got much media. I'm on the platform formerly known as Twitter. I'm on Threads. I'm on the Insta. I am the cult of Aaron. Join the cult. I am Don't Feed the Pigeon. I'm currently dead inside, so I haven't been updating my media. Professionally, I'm on Artsy and First Dibs. Check it out.
I came to a realization that if it wasn't for promoting our show, I would just bail on X. Just snip it and not think twice about it. Like I don't really enjoy
I never
Twitter
check
at
it.
all.
As you know, when you're
Right.
talking with your homies and freaks, you're like, Aaron, check X. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
it's such a negative pool of destruction.
And I used to really appreciate it, but now I think Elon Musk has said that there's a chance he's just going to charge everybody to use X. Like you have to pay a monthly fee to use any of it, and if he does that, I'm out.
What a great businessman! I think he bought it simply to destroy it.
Well, he's
honestly,
working.
Yeah. Because clearly no one's going to pay for it. We will all just keep jumping to the next free one.
Pretty. I mean, I literally appreciate Facebook now more than Twitter, which is shocking.
Which is shocking. Now that our family posts nothing on Facebook,
yes,
it's really at the point of I don't even know what I'm looking. Like after 2 seconds, it's not even showing me
right
any of the groups I'm following anymore.
No, it all sucks.
I'm like,
sucks.
what the is this? Why is it showing me news reports from like Tallahassee? Why would it ever think I want to know news from Florida when I'm thousands of miles away? It makes no sense.
Anything else that you want to share before we move on?
I'm just sour on everything, but I'm addicted to TikTok. I told you I had to set my TikTok as a warning. It warns me at 9:30, and I also put an hour and a half a daily limit on my TikTok because I could sit there for 6 hours. But
that's a good move.
Really, the first 5 minutes is where the good stuff is, and then after that, you just start flicking faster to try to get more good stuff. Like you're chasing the buzz. You're chasing the buzz.
You're chasing that dragon.
You're chasing the dragon, and that dragon is Ticker Talker. Bastards.
As you guys know, we like to sometimes include viewer-listener mail.
Ooh.
So, talking about Cat of Nine Tails from a few weeks ago, On Stage Music Podcast says, my mom and I loved this one. Boom!
I gotta tell you, I fucking love Dario Argento.
What's not
where's our Dario Argento podcast? That'll be our third podcast we do.
Absolutely. David Richard Morse says, never even knew this flick existed.
Now you know.
Now you know. I said, David, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And he says, I guess I can only blame myself. So
I wish I took more pictures when we were in Torino at that Argento exhibit because it literally had posters and props from every single one of his movies. Who knew?
Who knew? Well, what's funny is I was editing the WTF video for TikTok, and it is an extended scene of the milk. It's all about the milk. The phone.
Speaking of which, you have not sent that to me, so I can put it on the Ticker Talker.
I'll send it on Monday. You shall have it. You shall have it on Monday.
That means I don't have one for this week. Where's the one for the Sentinel?
I sent it. I already sent it.
When?
I'm pretty sure I sent it. Maybe I didn't. I'll double check. This is important.
This is behind the curtain, kids.
Behind the green door.
I hope this is not behind the green door.
That's
a whole different podcast.
That's a different podcast.
That's fans only. Yikes.
Chat roulette. Next week, we've been having a lot of guests on. Next week, we're going to have our buddy Stu from the Stu World Order podcast chime in to discuss his selection, which was Housebound. Where can you watch Housebound? That's an amazing question. You can watch it on Tubi with ads, Screambox if you have a subscription there, Fandor if you have a subscription there. Otherwise, $2.99 to watch.
These subscription services are out of freaking control. There's too many these weird, obscure channels, for God's sakes. I can't do it anymore.
For God's sakes. It's an Australian classic. So watch it. Send in any favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and maybe we'll talk about it on the show.
Because it sounds like a new TLC TV show. Like after Hoarders, you can then watch Housebound.
You're agoraphobic, but I'm going to let cameramen who I don't know in and videotape me.
I'm agoraphobic and I do shit in a bucket. But other than that, I'm totally normal.
Totally normal. I watched a movie. I think I told you about this, where it's like Dustin Hoffman and Sissy Spacek are older people and they kind of date a little bit. And their children, their real life children, play their children in the movie, and they start dating. And Sissy Spacek is a hoarder. So on the first date, Dustin Hoffman walks in, looks in the door, and he's just like, deuces, and then just bounces. She's going in to get like a cup of coffee. They've had a wonderful evening. Takes one look. I'm out. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
That is healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries.
He was dead 5 minutes later. Spoiler alert. Anyway, so thank you very much, and be well.
Good day.